everybody, it's me Lego3x11L, back from Australia and ready with my first video of 2K19. Hope you all had a lovely Christmas and New Year's and the 2019 has been awesome so far. This video is the next installment in my little Goblet of Fire series, and we've now gotten to the second task of the triwizard tournament. This is again like the minifigures from the first task and will be for the third, updates of my 2013 minifigures, which you can go check out in the description if you're in a particularly good mood that you want to have ruined by a nice big pile of cringe. But of course, it's February, it's freezing, so let's just jump into it. Diggory made use of the bobblehead charm to survive an hour underwater. He was the first to return from the lake with his hostage, earning him top points. This minifigure was quite easy to make, seeing as it's pretty much just a tank top with swimming trunks. The legs are from the CMF Queenie Goldstein, where I just removed the print. I absolutely love these legs, I've already used a bunch of them. I added a similar dual stripe design on the side of the legs, like in the first task. I really enjoy how the costume designers for the movie had a consistent theme for all the different tasks, even though the first one was by far the most interesting. One really cool thing about this minifigure, which I wish I had done last time, is using gold paint for the Hogwarts crest. This is not the first minifigure I've done this on, but it's the first that I'm showing here on YouTube. I made it by printing out a very light grey in the parts where the gold was gonna be. Then I took my gold Posca pen and I painted in the gold paint in those light grey spots. After that I took the full design on my computer, selected the gold parts, made them completely white, because when you print out white it is the same as it being transparent, so the gold paint would show through. And it gives it this nice shiny effect like the gold print you would see on official Lego minifigures, and I think it looks really nice. In this particular case, my application of the gold paint wasn't perfect, so you can see it seeps out into the yellow a little bit. Honestly, there's not much else to talk about on this minifigure, so let's just keep going. Delacour was also making use of the bobblehead charm, but was attacked by a steam of Grindylows while trying to save his sister from the lake. Fleur is therefore disarmed and can't complete the task. Side note, must kinda suck to be Roger Davis, right? Because all the other champions except for Harry had their Yule Ball partner as their hostage, but she chose her sister, so I can only imagine him feeling a little bit bummed out about that. Regardless of Roger Davis being jealous of Fleur's sister, this minifigure is even less detailed than the other three, as it doesn't even have a school logo on it. So it is honestly just a very simple swimsuit design. But even though it is so simple, I'm really pleased with the end result, and the making progress was also nice. The hair is again painted because Lego just don't like tan hair pieces for some reason. I just can't see why they keep using the bright light yellow instead. Yeah, sorry Lego, but I have to paint your shit. Because this minifigure is so simple, can we talk a bit about how much JK just seems to hate Fleur? I mean, she's pretty good in the first task, but then she just sucks ass in the last two. Come on, how was she even chosen by the Goblet if she's this rubbish? And later on, when she's reintroduced as Bill's fiancée, she just walks around talking about how hot she is all the time. I mean, come on, Rowling, what the hell? You could have made her a little bit more cool, couldn't you? Anyway, I like this character. I think the end result of this minifigure was pretty good. She could just have been better, you know. Krum saves Hermione from the mer people by transforming his upper torso and head into a shark. He is second to the surface, but due to unforeseen circumstances, he ends up in third place. But I'll get into that later. Victor was probably the easiest and most uninteresting to make. The Durmstrang sigil on his tank top was complex and tricky to make, but I had already made it for the first task, so I could just copy it onto this minifigure, so there was pretty much no work that went into this minifigure. I really wish that Lego had a set of dual molded legs with red on the top and light flesh on the bottom, because dual molded legs just looks so good, and I would have loved to use it on this minifigure, but unfortunately I had to do the same thing as I did back in the days with the old minifigure, just put on decals, so it roughly gives the same look. If Lego someday comes up with these dual molded legs, I will of course immediately switch them out. Lastly, I didn't make a new shark head for him, which might be disappointing to some people, and honestly it kind of is to me. I'm just not the best sculptor and haven't had that much experience with it yet, so I thought sculpting a new shark head would be a little too ambitious, but yeah, I might give it a go in the future. Potter almost didn't figure out a way to survive, but last minute the house elf Dobby provides him with gillyweed. Harry was last to leave the lake, technically making him last place, but after Dumbledore had a little chat with the mer people, it's clear that Harry arrived first to the hostages and only postponed returning because he wanted to save more than just Ron. Therefore, he's pronounced second after Cedric. Okay, last minifigure. Again, sorry the minifigures in this video aren't as interesting as the last two, but what am I supposed to do when the designs are so simple in the movie? Harry has a pretty similar design to Cedric, and again I used a technique with the gold paint. However, this time I think my application of the paint was a little more clean, so it looks a bit better. The legs are the medium short ones. Have I ever mentioned that I really love those? Well, I do really love those legs.
Those sexy legs.
Lego really needs to give us some other colors though, because it's really difficult to just work with the black and blue ones. Therefore, I obviously had to paint the lower parts of these in light flesh, and then I added decals to get his dark blue swimming trunks. It looks a bit rough, which is unfortunate, but from a bit of a distance, it looks pretty good. Lastly, I added the fins and also painted those in light flesh, and I think it's a really cool look. Definitely looks much better when the fins are painted as well. It just ties the whole minifigure together really nicely. Once again, I apologize for these minifigures not being as interesting. What can you really do? I hope you liked the video regardless. I certainly like the minifigures, but sometimes it's just difficult to figure out what to say when making a video, because I don't want to just talk about the obvious, the design itself, because you can just see that from watching the video. So I want to give a little more of an explanation as to how I went about making the minifigures, so different techniques used and stuff like that. But when I don't really use any new techniques, what is there really to talk about? But of course I still want to show the minifigures, and I hope it's still enjoyable to watch. The next Goblet of Fire video should be out soon, and it should have some really cool minifigures. They're certainly some of my personal favorites, but I don't have a set date for it yet, so you just have to wait. To end off with something completely different, I had an awesome trip to Australia, if anyone cared about that. I saw and tried out a lot of great things that I've wanted to do for a while, so that was incredible. I also just started taking my driver's license with my sister, so that is also a lot of fun. So overall, pretty great stuff. I'll be looking forward to seeing you in my next video. So Lego 3x11 signing out. Bye guys.